I'd like to introduce Michele, who is the founder and owner of I'm Your P.A. And rather than myself tell you all about it, I'll give her an opportunity to introduce herself to you all. So go ahead, Michele.
Well, that's about it, really. I'm the owner and founder of I'm Your P.A. I'm very proud of it. But background is nursing, years and years in sales, ended up, cut a long story short, was working with my ex-husband. We split up, came out the family business and thought, what do I do now? And somebody said, have you ever thought of being a virtual PA? And I said,
Mm,
no, no idea what they did. So went off to Antigua, lay on a beach, studied all about being a virtual PA, came back, set the business up, realized it wasn't really right because I don't type.
mm.
So decided to go down the route of call handling. And we did, and it's been an interesting journey, but here we are 15 years down the line and stronger than ever. I didn't like the idea of just working on my own, and most VAs, a lot of them do work on their own.
Yeah,
So I was always going to build a team. So we've got a team of 18 now,
right,
and we've bought about, we're just coming up to 270 clients.
right.
So it makes it interesting.
Yeah. And when you say team, I'm aware that your team, I mean, predominantly is actually an in-person group of people in the same space for is that correct that you're actually, because I know a lot of virtual PAs have like networks of people all over the place, even overseas and different things like that. You are kind of, you have a hub of people that you know, like, and trust and work with. Is that fair to say that?
Yeah, they're all employed. They're not
Yeah.
associates. Every single one of them is employed by us, and all bar one, they all work in the office. The one that works remotely was one of my seniors who moved area
Right.
and handed a notice in, and we worked it out. So she's as locked down and as secure working from home as we
Yeah.
are in the office. Because for
Yeah.
me, a lot of it is about the security. But yeah, we're all based in the office, and the team is actually divided into four teams.
Yeah.
So you won't know about the fourth one yet.
All right. So, so
Yeah,
I,
so we
I
now have
yeah, so
teams.
that is actually a bit of a point of difference because like I do know a lot of VAs and virtual personal assistants and that they do kind of, it is all kind of quite dispersed and a lot of remote working. But I think it's great that you actually, I suppose it's one thing, it's giving local jobs for local people and getting them in a physical building and actually building that rapport and that team vibe. Do you know what I mean? I think that's really to your credit that you're actually doing that, and that's part of the, it seems to be part of the ethos of your company as well. So I'll just ask you a few questions, really, then that's how we're going to progress. So, I mean, what would you say, this is a bit of a big one, what would you say are the biggest challenges that you personally have faced as a small to medium-sized enterprise, the owner of an SME? And what are those challenges and how did you overcome them? And are there any specific strategies or approaches that have proved particularly effective to overcome these challenges? Bit of a hard question.
Um, yeah, there's staffing is always going to be a problem because
Right.
bringing in new staff, they need to gel with the team, and
Yeah.
because we are so team focused, it's crucial to me that we have people that gel and have the right qualifications and abilities. So staffing's always one thing. The other one, which in effect it goes hand in hand, is getting the right number of clients and the right clients, because in some respects it can be quite easy to get clients, but if they're not the right clients, it's a bit pointless.
Right.
We're very very focused on getting the people that work well with us.
Mm.
So that's a key. Getting the clients and the right amount and the right type. And I could tell you some stories on that. Um, um, but everything else, I think a key one for overcoming it is, and it took me, we set up in 2007, it took me till 2015 to really grasp the importance of it, is knowing your figures.
Right,
And you've got to know your figures inside out and back to front.
right.
You've got to know everything, your break even, your profit, your loss, your how much, how much does it cost you to run the business on an hourly basis? What do the staff need to be bringing in, charging out on an hourly basis? And drilling right down, that then gives you the room that, well, we are going to be able to expand, or we are going to be able to invest in new equipment or marketing or whatever. But if you don't know those figures, to be quite honest, Howard, you're screwed.
Right.
So that was a big lesson for me.
Yeah, right. That's a good answer. Thank you for that. So in terms of you mentioned about the knowing your figures to accommodate the right kind of balance, I suppose. What in terms of I mean, you mentioned, getting the right kind of staff. What advice would you give to people in terms of overcoming that particular issue in terms of recruitment and vetting or whatever? Is there any kind of one golden nugget of information that you'd say in terms of how you successfully do it, or you've had the greatest success? I know you say it's still, no matter what, it's still challenging. Is there any one? I mean, I'm putting you on the spot here a bit. Is there any one little bit of advice you could give to people that say, look, always X, Y, Z when you come to, vetting or recruiting people to fill those essential slots?
It's I'm possibly controversial, and I'll probably go against every HR and recruitment person. I don't read CVs,
Right.
and we do values analysis. So everybody that applies for a position with us, we've got an advert going out at the moment. Everybody that applies for a position, we send them a link to do a values analysis, because we know the values that work well. We know we have to have humour in the company. So we send that, and it's interesting. 600 applicants, we're lucky if we get 60 of those back. So that means I didn't need to read any of the CVs, because if they can't be bothered to fill that in, well,
Yeah.
what else can't they be bothered to do?
Mm.
And then when we then do a group interview. And when we come to the group interview, I always tell them I've not read any CVs. I said,
How do they
because
react to that
can
then?
you tell?
What do they say when you say, well,
Shocked.
we've not read any? They're shocked.
Yeah, yeah, they're totally shocked. And I said, but tell me, have any one of you told me what you're not particularly good at? Or have you just sold yourself and maybe oversold yourself? Because I used to on my CVs.
Yeah.
I said, so I'm more interested in you as an individual. And we've taken people on over the years that, to be honest, if you read their CV, you would never have dreamt of taking them on.
Right.
And they have been the most amazing staff. So I don't tend to read CVs. We get them to present at the group interview, present about something that's represent something that's really important to them. So we've had all sorts of things that people have brought in, from a photograph of somebody on their wedding day wearing purple Wellingtons, to somebody turning up with an ice cream pot and producing a necklace that her husband had bought her with her children's names on. All sorts. And then you get the people that, oh, I forgot. Well, if you forgot to bring it to interview, what else are you going to forget? So they've wheedled themselves out by not following the process. And then at the end of it, we'll shortlist based on all of that. We'll shortlist how well they can communicate, because if you can't communicate about something that you're passionate about, how are you going to be able to answer the phones? So we then bring them in, and that's when we do skill test. But we've
Right.
wheedled it right down at that
Right.
stage.
Because I mean, building a strong team is crucial for the growth and success of any business. And I mean, I was going to ask you about your strategies for that and attracting and retaining the sort of top talent in a competitive landscape they're in. But you seem to be from what you've just said, you seem to have a very innovative approach and a definite set process for evaluating these people and kind of it's not kind of like the conventional route that people have of like you said about HR. People will probably think, well, that's a bit kind of off piste, really, but if it works for you, and it's kind of giving you the results that you need to get those right people that can do the job and are a good fit within your culture, then that's very commendable, and it might be something that people could actually take on board. What unique and different ways can they approach sort of recruitment and screening people and getting the best candidates for the job? So that's an interesting take on it all. So this is another one that I'm very much interested in. That in a competitive market, how does I'm Your P.A. Differentiate its brand and carve out a unique space in the marketplace? And I'm just asking if you could share some of your more creative or innovative tactics that has helped you as a business stand out from the crowd. Because I mean, it is a very, very crowded. I mean, like I think everybody says whoever you speak to, they will all say, "Oh, my industry is really, really saturated. It's really overcrowded. There's so many people doing it." But I think everybody, but certainly you'd probably say the same about yourself. It is a very crowded marketplace. Is the PA scene? How do you overcome that, and how do you stand out? And what creative things have you done with your own brand, and how has it helped you? And what have you done? I'd like to know.
So, firstly, I don't see that it's an overcrowded market.
Ah, that's
There's
interesting.
there's different areas of the marketplace. So the independent one woman band VAs, I'd say that's getting more and more crowded, but I don't see myself there.
Right.
So good call handling, I see as a different marketplace. And it's interesting. And you should actually know part of the answer of this, because I
Right.
came to you because I was in a mess.
Mm.
And I've never really updated you on the difference that it made. But I took advice from a marketing person that we needed to rebrand because everything about the business was all my face on everything. And they said, you need to change that. So we paid an awful lot of money. And we came up with this strap line and this squiggly line based on our logo. And so my picture went off everything and everything became very, very corporate looking. And we started to get some clients. Any rebranding will raise interest. So we started to get a few more clients, but they were the wrong clients.
All right.
They just didn't work with us. They were quite corporate. And it was difficult to explain. You haven't actually bought a person. You don't own us. We're not employed by you. We are a business in our own rights. So it wasn't going that well. As fast as we were taking them on, we were losing them because the fit was wrong. We are a values-based company, honesty, kindness, and humour. So when we came to you, which I'd been following you on Facebook for a while, when we came to you and I said, that's who we are. And we did that crazy branding shoot, which was the most amazing experience. We all enjoyed it, even though we were all terrified at the thought that we were going to have to stand there and sort of go, all this. And it was nothing like that. It was just magical. And then we gave those images back to the website people and we started putting them out on social media. And here's the interesting thing. People now say, oh, you're such a little family. Oh,
Mm,
you're such fun. I love your posts. Oh, you're mad, you lot are. Those are the clients we want. The clients
mm,
with a personality and a sense of humor, because we fit together like that. We absolutely click. We still get the odd one that comes to us, but I have got a couple of other VA companies that are very corporate where
mm,
we'll just pass them across and say, I think you'll be a better fit there. So it is about the branding. You've got to stand out, and I suppose you've got to live your brand.
mm,
You really have to live and breathe it.
yeah.
And anything that goes out there has got to be lived and breathed so that they know that people know what it's not just an advert. This is us. This
Mm,
is as good as it gets. This is as fabulous as it gets, but this is it. What you see is what you get.
mm, mm,
And that then I think does make you stand out. But it stands out that we're not right for everybody, and
yeah.
that's fine
Yeah.
because we're not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, thanks for the other kind comments about our contribution to what you've been doing with the branding and the personal branding. But it is actually interesting. One thing that I picked up on what you were just saying then is the idea of family, and about a business, and the ethos of feeling like a family, and being able to um, present that and communicate that as a message in your images and your branding and things like that. And it is genuine. It's not something that you are trying to manufacture. It's authentic, and we've managed to. I'd like to think we managed to get that across. And you know, businesses big and small. I mean, you know, you're an independent, privately owned business, and you know, an SME. But I mean, it's funny because I've been looking at a lot of other things that are going on with larger corporates. I mean, for instance, there's McCain. They you know, they do the frozen chips and stuff like that. Global, massive global brand, and yet, you know, they very much like to think of in terms of their culture, it is about family. And like there are other companies that we're sort of looking at and talking to, like Ferrero. I mean, they're very much family. They treat the staff and their culture is like the mindset is about having a family. And what you're doing, even though it's a small business, is actually a fairly positive and universal thing for a successful business to do. So you're absolutely 100% right in what you're doing, having that family rather than cold, distant corporate thing. It's about the people, and the you know, valuing your people, which I absolutely know that you do. You're a very caring person anyway, and the fact that you know you're supportive, and it does feel like a family to me. And I think what you communicated, that's why we did what we did for you, is the fact that we wanted to get that feeling over. And it families. I mean, Gary V, who's a kind of a social media kind of guru, American guy, is very, very well known and well popular. And he even, I was watching one of his podcast videos, and he said, you know, you've got to create a family in that business. They've got to get that one of his lines is, uh, your your staff do not work for you. You work for them. You are their like mentor and supporter, and he's got to create that family thing. And it's what, you know, it's a great attitude to have what you've got with that. And I think that's quite thrilling that you've said that, because I didn't know what you were going to say. And the fact that you know you create this family ethos and culture that is represented in the work that we've done for you, and people are buying into that and understand that, and are trusting you and coming to you and feeling comfortable and safe, that they've got a safe pair of hands, or multiple pair of hands in your case with your guys, you know. So that's a brilliant answer, and thank you very much. Thank you very much. um
I mean, going I don't know whether it's of use, but going back to what you were saying with regard to the staffing and everything, at the moment I've got 3 members of staff, all of whom have got dreams of doing something completely different to what they're doing. One of them, for example, wants to be a midwife, and I'm
Right.
supporting them through getting the qualifications to leave us
Yeah.
so that she can go and achieve her dream. And the other thing is, which again is a bit of a HR nightmare to run, all our holiday is done by the hour. So you only ever have to take 1 hour off if you want. And as we come up to Christmas, we ask everybody, when are the school assemblies, the school plays and everything, so we can shuffle the hours that everybody gets to go to the school assembly, play or sports day, whatever, because it is about their family. That's important. Respect their family.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. I mean, the thing is, one of your kind of key messages to your clients is that you are there to facilitate them having more time to do the job and not have to stress about answering calls and dealing with customers like on that level, to create more time to actually do what they're supposed to be doing, and also to create more time for family. Now, if you didn't actually have that kind of ethics within your business, that you didn't do that for your own staff, then there would be a big misalignment. But you've addressed that, and not as a functional thing that you felt obliged to do, but because it's part of you as a person. I'm sort of suggesting, but it's yeah. So I love what you're saying. I love what you're saying. So to sort of wrap up with, other than anything that we might have already covered, what or it could it could be, but what would you say is your top piece of advice that you could give a fellow business owner or entrepreneur that we could round this session off with? What if you could just sort of sum up and say what one good amazing piece of advice that you could leave everybody who's watching or listening to this little bit of a conversation? What would you give them as something to take away with them?
It's something my mother said to me. You have 2 choices in life. You sit down, give up, and lose everything, or you pull your knickers up and box on. I'm not prepared to lose everything. Therefore, I have one choice. So when it hits the fan, you can either go screaming and shouting and crying, or you can just go into the cold, oh God mode and pull your knickers up and box on. That's it. Running a business is like riding a hungry tiger. If you get off, you're eaten. So you really have to focus, and you just have to get on with it, and don't feel sorry for yourself, and always surround yourself with positive people that can give good advice. So I have the most incredible network of people. Networking is amazing. And I've got a fabulous network of people that I can trust, that if something isn't right, I can go to them and say, what do I do? I'm out of my comfort zone. And I know that I'll get good advice. And that's carried me through.
Yeah, I'd certainly second that. The people who you surround yourself with, that kind of, I mean, broader network's great because you need a broad network of it's a bit of a numbers game, but when you kind of narrow it down, if you've got those people around you that have got you back, and you know that you can trust them implicitly to not only have the integrity and have your best interest at heart, but also have the knowledge and expertise, that they're just not giving it all that they actually do know their stuff, that can actually support and help you, then that is like gold, isn't it, really? And if you're saying you've got that, and that's one of the key things that helps you out when things get tough, even if it's a conversation and you need to speak to somebody and it's not massively technical or any advice on something specific. It's just somebody to sound a bit of a sounding board, or somebody to vent to, or chat, or get things off your chest. I think we can all benefit from that as a piece of advice, to know that we've got a people there for you. I think that's a really good piece of
You need,
advice.
yeah, you need the best accountant, you need the best, and they've got all these people, got to be people that you click with. So the best
Mm,
accountant, the best IT, the best business mentor, best HR. You've got to have people that you can implicitly trust in these areas.
mm,
And you need to find yourself, and I'm fortunate, I have found this now, but you need to find yourself somebody that actually understands marketing, and it's like the marketing people, website people, VAs, there's hundreds and thousands of them out there now, but finding the ones that you can actually work with, but also the ones that really do know their stuff, and they're often the most understated. But you've got our marketing stuff, and that's it, and I get told off if I put something that's slightly the wrong color and all the rest of it. But you need all that,
mm,
and don't scrimp. I see people scrimping on IT stuff, and it's like, seriously, without
mm.
the IT, you've got business in most cases.
Yeah.
So why would you scrimp?
We've been, I mean, my background's in first half of my career was in uh big brand stuff, exclusively big brand. I never did any work for SMEs at all, or small businesses. It was all Disney, Asda, M&S and Morrison's, and all kind of big companies. And once I got into the SME space, when I started my own business, because that was kind of the more practical approach to approach small businesses. It was always a little standing joke that myself and Catherine, who Catherine's my wife and a business partner, the business partner in the business. It was always a bit of a standing joke because we used to deal with small businesses and go to breakfast network and things like this, and it would always be a little joke that would say that some of these businesses, the business owners, would pay more for the pair of shoes that they had on than they would for the logo for the business. Because we would say, we'll do your branding, it's going to be X, Y, Z. And they go, oh, how much? And they go, oh, I'm not paying that. And certainly back in the early days, in like going back 15, 16 years when we set up our own business, our prices were a hell of a lot lower because we were just sort of trying to get a bit of a foot in the door with a lot of these businesses. And they literally they were expecting, I kid you not, were expecting to pay 20, 30 pounds for the logo redoing. And it's like, are you insane? They probably had £100 pair of shoes on, because there would have been very nicely well-off people with a nice Mercedes or BMW or Range Rover parked in the car park, and they just didn't get it. They did not get it. They say, "Well, how long's that going to take you? You could do it in an hour." And it's just, and we're still kind of getting that now because we've got things like Fiverr and people just um sort of cutting corners and doing things that they shouldn't be doing. And we really want people to be successful, and we'd never take people's money that they didn't need to spend or didn't get any kind of value out of. But yeah, you're right, don't scrimp on stuff that is essential and that will set you apart and make your business thrive instead of just scrape by. So yeah, good,
Yeah.
more pearls of wisdom from you there. Thank you very much. So it's been absolutely lovely, as always, to speak with you, Michele. And I'm really grateful for you giving up your valuable time. And thank you very much. And goodbye. And I've been great to see you. So there you go. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, Howard.
Yeah. All right. See you soon, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Bye.